Hi, my name is Stephanie Cerros, and this is Sad Sucia Stories. Today we are going to be talking about why a religious promise made me wipe my butt with my brother's socks. Before we get started, I did want to mention again that if you guys were feeling generous and wanted to support some local artists, I am co-producing my good friend Molly Moon's OnlyFans. I'll leave a link somewhere in the description, and if you guys would be so kind as to go check it out, maybe subscribe for a few months. So if you're feeling generous, please go check that out. So because last video was like a little bit more depressing, I wanted to do something kind of a little bit more on the lighter side. So I was maybe like 16, 17, something like that. One of my younger brothers, we're gonna call him Face Wash. So one of my younger brothers, Face Wash, used to have really severe panic attacks, and it got to the point where Face Wash would be like in class and he'd have a panic attack and he would faint. So there was like a point in time when Face Wash like couldn't go to school at all. Like he was literally at home for months, because anytime he would start to get anxious, this poor Face Wash would just literally faint. Because this is America, it was really difficult to find any sort of medical help for him, because doctors just kind of were like, is he faking it? It looks like he's faking it. Is he faking it? Eventually, my mom got so desperate that she made a religious promise to God. She said, God, if you help make Face Wash better, me and my other kids, we will walk barefoot from the home where I was raised in Mexico all the way across to the next town over. And we gonna do it barefoot, and we gonna do it in the summer. Lo and behold, thankfully, Face Wash got better. And so that summer, when we went to Mexico, that's when my mom told us, maybe the second or third day, she was like, hey, you and Toothpaste is the other brother, okay? And she was like, so I made a promise, and I kind of promised for you guys as well. So we had to go, a huevo. That was a promise that my mom made, and it was to God. So we had to go. It felt very it didn't feel like we had a choice. So a couple, maybe 1 or 2 days pass, and we wake up, and me, my mother, and Toothpaste take off our shoes, and we begin our walk to the next town over, barefoot in Mexico in August. And what was even stupider is that we were really procrastinating it, because nobody wanted to do it, not even my mom. Even though she made the promise, she didn't really want to do it either, So it was it was something we should have done stupid early in the morning, when it was less hot, but we didn't. We waited until it was 10 a.m. If you've ever been to more the rural locations of Mexico, a lot of it is not paved. A lot of it's just broken rocks and dirt and grass and ants. It was a painful walk, and we were barefoot, and it was terrible, and it was hot. But none of that really mattered, because what made the whole thing so much more terrible was the fact that I really, 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 really had to take a shit. There was no public restrooms in this very rural road in the middle of Mexico. There wasn't even any sort of abarrotes or gas station or anything like that. Nothing like that. It was literally just a road. And my mom is already mad, because she's having to do this too. Her feet f***ing hurt. She's trying to be positive. She's trying to lead by example type of thing, So my mom is already in a bad mood, and I'm Ma, Ama, I really gotta poop. And I already knew what was coming, because one of the great things about Mexico is that fruit is so inexpensive, so cheap. So maybe for like the past like 3 or 4 days, I had literally eaten nothing but like watermelon. I was like chomping down watermelon, like nothing but watermelon. So I already knew that my poopy was not going to be very solid because there was nothing in my stomach besides watermelon. Eventually we get to like a patch in the road where it's kind of like fenced off because those specific plots of land belong to people. The fence is essentially made out of like rocks, like large rocks kind of stacked up together. My mom is like, you need a shit. And I was like, yes, I need a shit. And she was like, go behind that wall. And I was like, I don't want to poop behind the wall. And she was like, do you want to poop on the road where like somebody might drive by? And I was like, no. So I hop the fence and I pop a squat and I am just tearing up that farm. Disgusting, no mercy. No mercy. And when I am done, I call over to my mom from like across the fence and I was like, Amma, I'm done. And she was like, okay. And I was like, what do I use to wipe? And she was like, a rock? A handful of grass? Like she was talking to me like I was really stupid, like duh, like what else would you wipe with? A rock? Like that is the most logical answer. And I'm looking around and there are no rocks. There's like pebbles and there's like large stones, but there's no like rocks. And I'm like, Amma, there's no rocks. What do I wipe my butt with? And she was like, just use the grass. And I was like, no, I don't want to use the grass to wipe my butt because I had a very watery poop. And so she's fucking pissed at this point because she's been standing there on the side of the road forever, like waiting for me to finish. And she's like, oh my God. She starts screaming at me. And then she starts screaming at toothpaste. And poor little toothpaste, just a small child. She was like, toothpaste, give her your socks. And obviously toothpaste was like, what the fuck, no. And she was like, just give her your socks. Because he had been walking, he was not barefoot, he was a bebe, he was a child. So I do not recall if he was walking with shoes and socks or just his socks. Either way, he gave me his socks. So toothpaste grabs his socks and he like throws them over the fence. I grab his socks and I wipe my ass with his socks. And then we just uncomfortably continued our walk to like the next town over. I looked so stupid, girl, and I was so sunburnt. I was so sunburnt. My fellow people of color will like understand this, that like sometimes you get kind of cocky and you're like I don't need sunscreen. Like I don't burn. I get tan. I don't burn. Girl, I was so burnt. So burnt. I was red with the Lady Gaga shirt and watermelon diarrhea. That was not my proudest moment. That is the story of how a religious promise made me wipe my butt with my brother's socks.